Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my favorite Morphe brushes. Most of these I use every single time I sit down to do my makeup, and as you guys all know, Morphe is super affordable. I have yet to have a bad experience with any brushes that I've used from them, so that's always good. Unlike some of those videos that you see where they're like shedding really bad or like breaking, like that's never happened to me, thank goodness. But anyway, so if you like to see some of my favorite affordable Morphe brushes, please keep watching. So I'm just gonna mention this one real quick because I really like it, and I don't know if I don't think they sell it anymore, but I don't know if they just like renamed it. But if you guys know anything about this brush, please let me know in the comments. This is the G38. This is like my favorite brush to do my concealer, like if I want to tap it in with a brush. But I don't think they make this like gunmetal collection anymore, and I need to know if they renamed it or whatever. So please let me know if you know anything. So the first brush I'm going to be talking about is the Morphe E3. This is a domed powder brush, as you can see here. I love this brush for bronzer. You've probably seen it in my videos for like 2 years straight. Like, this is my go-to bronzer brush. I love it. I love that it's pointed and fluffy, so it's really easy for me to angle the bronzer right into my cheekbone, and then I can still get that like contour bronzer thing going on at the same time without getting my bronzer all the way down here and stuff like that. And then I also like this to bronze around my forehead because it is pointed, so I just set the base of the brush right here and push up, and then I can bronze right into my hairline all the way around my forehead. But it's just like the perfect brush to fit right into that cheekbone, and you're like kind of buffing and blending the bronzer as you go. And then it is pointed, so it's really nice for like the jaw too, and then the neck. I love this brush. The next brush I'm going to be talking about is a more recent favorite. I've only used this probably for the last like month or so, but I can tell this is going to be like my new favorite powder brush. This is the Morphe E41. Huge. This brush is massive. It is kind of like domed. Like, see the E3? Hopefully you can see. Find a good spot. So the E3 is like a domed point, kind of like tapered, and then the E41 is also domed, but it's like a circle, if that makes any sense. So this just goes straight like this, but it's super soft, super fluffy. I love just to get the powder on top of it and then just press into the skin. You can literally do like your whole face in like 3-4 like pounces of powder. I like that it's like big enough to get my neck. It just makes putting on loose powder like faster. And the brush is really soft, so it doesn't hurt. Next, my favorite blush brush. I think this is a lot of people's favorites because I've seen it in a lot of videos. This is the E4. So this is an angled brush, but I love the shape of it. As you can see here, it's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like a half of a teardrop shape. I don't know, I'm so bad at describing things, but I like the shape of it because it is angled and fluffy, but right here it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but the way that it fits into my cheek is perfect. So I like to angle it like this, and then I like how it applies, so I can like sweep it across like this, or I can just pounce it back and forth. And I always put like the shorter end right along my cheekbone, so that way I can keep all my cheek products like above this line, so that way my cheeks look lifted and sculpted. And I just love this. It looks so good when you go like this. It just fits my entire cheek like perfect. Then this is my other favorite brush for concealer. You could still buy this one. It's this one that I want to know about. But anyways, this is the Morphe E45. This has also been in like my videos for the past like year or two. I love it to blend out my concealer. It's just a round fluffy brush. I want to say when I looked it up to see if it was still in stock, they said it was like a contour brush or something, but I use it for concealer. And it just fits right in there. It's kind of dense, but not too dense. It's fluffy, so it's just really nice to get in there and blend out concealer. I do use it like really light. Like, I don't like use it very like, I don't use it like super rough. I just use it very lightly, and then it just blends out my concealer like so nice. I love this brush. Then I have my favorite Morphe foundation brush. I'm not sure if they still sell this because it's part of this like gunmetal collection, but let me know if they just renamed this if you know. This is the G36. This is the only foundation brush that I've ever used from Morphe, and I love it. It's not super big. It's pretty small for a foundation brush, and it's not that dense. It's not as dense as this Huda Beauty foundation brush, so I really like that. So it's kind of like dense and fluffy. I think that's why I like it for foundation. Just helps like blend out my foundation easier. So I just like stipple this on, and then I'll just kind of do like little buffing motions all the way around my face, and I just really like this for foundation. Next, this is my favorite brush to use to set my under eyes. Again, this is another brush you've probably seen in my videos many times. This is the M536. This is a tapered buffing brush, I believe. You can see here it's nice and fluffy, but it is that dome shape, so it's kind of just like a smaller version of the powder brush in a way. It's kind of like a mix between the E3 and the E41. If they had a baby, it would be this guy. So again, this is the M536. I love the way it's shaped because it just fits like right under my eye, so I can set my concealer with powder. I also like to use this brush if I want to do any touch-ups throughout the day. If I start to get like a little oily on my forehead or on my chin, I just put this in some pressed powder, and then I just tap those areas. Like, so good. Moving on to eye brushes, I like to use the M504 brush. It's this big fluffy brush. I think people use this for highlighter, right? I don't know, it sounds familiar. So I like to use this for an all over lid shade or my transition shade. I just think it makes blending so much easier, and it fits like, it's the perfect shape, perfect size to fit right directly into my eyelid. And I think just this being like big and fluffy, it kind of like does all the work for you when you want to do like a transition shade. Next, we have a smaller, more precise blending brush. This is what this one looks like. This is the E17. So I like this brush if I want to apply like product directly into my crease, or if I want to buff out any colors that are in my crease. I like this one because it's just like smaller, so it's just easier to get directly into that crease. Then I have another fluffy brush, so if I want like, so say I use the M504 for like an all over lid shade or my transition shade, then I can go in with just like a little bit smaller blending brush. This is the M441. I'll put them side by side so you can see. It's just a tad bit smaller, but if I want more, if I want to deepen up my transition shade or my crease shade just a little bit more, then I'll go in with this brush. Or if I just want more of like a precise crease shade, I will also use this brush, and it's nice and fluffy, so it gets in there and it really blends out that crease shade. I also like to use this brush if I need to go back in and just like buff around the shades to blend everything in together so there's no harsh lines. This next brush is a pretty good dupe for a Sigma brush, I think. So I think it's a pretty good dupe for the E25 from Sigma. It's like the same concept, so it is a blending brush, but it's more, it's like a flat blending brush. I don't know how to describe this brush. I don't know. But it is fluffy, but it's more precise. So I like this if I want to get directly into the crease, I'll use this brush. Or if I want to pat a darker shade on the outer V, I'll also use this brush, and then I can just kind of like swoop everything in. I like to use this brush first to apply the product directly in my crease like this, and then I'll pat the darker shades on the outer corner, and then I'll flip the brush so that way it's horizontal, and then I'll blend this way. So I like to use this brush both ways. Then here is just like another crease brush that I like. I like this one because it's fluffy and tapered. This is the M505. So this one is tapered compared to the M504. Again, I will hold them side by side so you can see. So it's still fluffy, but it's tapered, so it's really nice to get directly into that crease or to do like more precise blending work. And then I threw this one in here too because this one reminds me of the M433 brush, which is like that flat blending brush. This is the G13. It's part of that gunmetal series. I'm starting to think that they just stopped making it. I don't know. I hope not, because they're my favorite brushes. But I wanted to throw this in here just in case they still make it. And this is just like, this is more compact than this one, but I also like to use this one for the same thing. Moving on to my lower lash line, I like to use the M431. It's just a tapered pencil brush, although you have to be careful with this because it is a little scratchy. So when I use it, I have to use it like really lightly or it like kind of hurts a little bit, but I do like how it blends out. And then this is also good for like the inner corner and like a brow highlight. Then to buff out my lower lash line or to add more color or whatever I need to do, I like to take this domed pencil brush. This is way softer. This doesn't scratch at all. This is the E18 and this is the perfect size. So if you look up close, there's like darker hairs right here and then it kind of gets like lighter color all the way up. So if you take right where the darker shade ends and you press it like right there, you can just use this to blend. And just kind of like how I was telling you guys about the bronzer brush that I like, how I can just set the end of the brush like right here and just blend up. It's kind of like the same idea with this brush. I just set it and then I just blend, and it's not going to go any lower than right where I set the base of the brush. Then I like this to clean up my lipstick, or I like this to carve out my brows. This is an M421. It's a flat concealer brush. This is the perfect size concealer brush if you need to clean up brows or if you need to clean up your liquid lipstick or any kind of lipstick, put some concealer on it, and it's small enough so it just fits right in there. It's super flat and it just like does the most perfect job to carve out lips or eyebrows. The last brush I'm going to be talking about is my favorite brow brush at the moment. This is the E11. So it's quite a bit bigger than my Anastasia, what is this? Number 12 brush. This is my other favorite brow brush. I'm going to put them side by side so I can show you. So you can see like the difference. It's a pretty big difference. But this, it doesn't have a spoolie or anything. But this, since it is so big, but it is dense enough to where there's not like stray hairs like fraying out. And this makes me do my brows seriously in like 0.2 seconds. I think it's because it's so big. I can just be like whoop, whoop, and then fill in and I'm done. So I absolutely love this brush for brows. So let me know what your favorite must-have Morphe brushes are in the comments below. But these are my babies. If you use any of these brushes the way that I do, also let me know in the comments below because these are my favorite brushes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe on your way out and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And if you want to see any more like my favorite brush videos, like I have some from Walmart, I have some from Sigma, I have just like a mixture of brands that I also like to use. So let me know if you want to see any other brush videos in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.